Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxy, on this build up to this massive Champions League game, Rangers at home to Liverpool. It's Juicy. Evening, Juicy.
Good evening, Ox, and good evening, everyone listening.
Yeah, mate, I've got the team. I'll get your thoughts on it, mate. It's McGregor, James Tavernier, Borna Barisic, Connor Golson, Ben Davis, Ryan Jack, John Lundstrom, Scotty Arfield, Fashion Jr., Ryan Kent, and Antonio Kolak. Thoughts, Juicy. With substitutes, I suppose. McLaughlin, Ridvan, Davis, Matondo, Sands, Morelos, Wright, McCrory, King, Devine, and Tillman.
I think we can speak for most Rangers fans listening. I hope we can. But that is pretty much the team that people would want to see. Hopefully a 4 at the back and a 3-3 to just try and take it to them and do the best they can. Could be an open style. There could be goals. But I want to see an exciting match, Ox, because we haven't always seen that in this group stage. You know, we've set up certain ways to play, but really aside from the Napoli game, they've been quite difficult for us. So hopefully tonight, change of formation. We've got a guy up front in Cholak who is in fantastic form. We know how capable he is. He might only get 2 touches of the ball in the match, but you know he'll be on target with his efforts. So that's how clinical the guy is. Fashion deserves to start, Ox, after the performance at the weekend and his cameo last week in the Liverpool game away. And of course, Kent starts, and I think we probably thought that he would when he was rested at the weekend. So we'll see what he can do as well.
All right, we've got a quick Ports report.
Hello and welcome to Ports Report. Today we're going to look at Rangers vs Liverpool in the Champions League Group A match at Ibrox Stadium. Tonight is a massive match as Rangers must win to stay in the tournament or proceed to the Europa Cup by finishing third. Liverpool's team news. Liverpool will travel to Glasgow without Luis Diaz after the winger suffered a knee injury following a collision with Arsenal's Thomas Partey late in the first half at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. The Colombian international was pictured leaving North London in crutches with a knee brace, with Klopp admitting it doesn't look good and it's a huge blow for the side. I believe he's out till after the World Cup. Having utilised 4 attackers against Rangers last week, the Germans stuck with an attacking formation against Arsenal and may do the same again in midweek despite suffering defeat. As such, Firmino is likely to replace injured Diaz, with Diogo Jota shifting to the left flank. Ibrahima Konate made his first appearance of the season in the second half after returning from a knee injury and could partner Virgil van Dijk in defence, while Joe Gomez is set to start at right back, with Trent Alexander-Arnold doubtful due to an ankle injury, which led to being subbed at half-time against Arsenal. Klopp also may look to freshen things up in midfield, with Fabinho to provide the anchor to regain some dominance in the midfield, but captain Jordan Henderson could be taken out of the firing line following a bust-up with Gabriel on Sunday, which is being investigated by the Football Association. Possible starting team lines for both teams: the Rangers team, McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Sands, Barisic, Lundstrom, Davis, Kamara, Sakala, Cholak and Kent. Liverpool's team: Alisson, Gomez, Konate, Van Dijk, Shimikas, Fabinho, Thiago, Salah, Firmino, Jota and Nunez. And that's the end of Ports Report.
Spoke to Port today and it's official. He doesn't know what day of the week it is, but he'll know what I'm talking about. He's pretty close with both teams. He got a few wrong in the Liverpool forward line, which will be a bit of a shock. The Liverpool forward line is Alisson, Gomez, Konate. The team is Alisson, Gomez, Konate, Van Dijk, Kimikas, Fabinho, Henderson, Elliott, Carvalho, Firmino and Nunez. Yeah, so we're not really worried about them. We're worried about us, Juicy.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, they've had to make a few changes, but it's still quality coming in for quality as far as Liverpool are concerned. So whatever 11 they put out is going to be a challenge for us. And I'm just hoping, as I said at the top of the show, that we just approach it in the right manner, Oxja, and try and take the match to them and see what happens. We had so many fabulous nights last year in the Europa League where we took it to teams that, you know, on paper were stronger than us, teams from supposedly stronger leagues. We didn't let that bother us. And I know this is the test of all tests, but let's give the fans something to remember tonight and just put in a good effort, guys. No matter which 11 it is we're up against.
Yeah. As Fox said after the Leipzig game, it was in his top 5 evenings of his life, and he's been married 7 times, so it says a lot about his honeymoons. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, the Rangers team is Alan McGregor, James Tavernier, Connor Golston, Ben Davis, Borna Barisic, Ryan Jack, John Lundstrom, Scotty Arfield, Fashion Jr., Ryan Kent, and Antonio Golach, or Kolach as he's known, which to me is a 4-2-3-1. With obviously the wide men expected to help out the midfield. Scotty Arfield, we drop back out in possession and make it a 5 in there, and we go forward with the 2 sitters and then the 4 going forward. Yes.
Yeah, that's probable, which is pretty much our usual game plan for domestic as well, isn't it? So he's going for something hopefully that's fairly tried and tested. And obviously the 2 holding midfielders. I think the only concern that I would have is, have we got the creativity in that midfield and the pace to unlock them? Obviously we've got the pace with Fashion and Kent, and we've got the clinicalness from Cholak. But sometimes we've been a bit concerned about the movement of Lundstrom and Jack. But with Arfield, no, he hasn't had his best few matches recently. But what you will get is you'll get enthusiasm, drive, and determination. And you know that he's capable, Oxger, of making those runs into the box. His preemptive thought processes are very good. And Tillman, last few matches, mate, he's not really sort of turned up in terms of the attitude. And I know that's harsh on the boy when he was playing on the right. And if he does come in today, I want him to come on for Arfield and play in that number 10 role. And, actually play where he supposedly is his better position. But I'm happy enough that Arfield's starting because he won't give up on.
The game against Hearts, mate, I thought Arfield's intelligence, his movement was superb. His execution, obviously got a good goal chopped off, which changes what people think of your performance. But his movement was absolutely superb. His execution, he had a nightmare. So I don't care if his runs and his intelligence is crap at night. If his execution is great and he gets us a couple of goals, mate.
Absolutely, and his technical play is decent. There's been times when his composure is in the minus. And I keep bringing it up, but remember Braga at home last season? He missed 2 sitters when we could have gone out of sight in the match. I know we qualified anyway, but it was obviously a difficult period in the match. And, unfortunately, he's not a great finisher, but he does have his moments and he has scored a few goals. And who knows, he might be saving it all for tonight.
Yeah, I hope you're right. The bench to replace Antonio Cholak, I think will give us everything he's got between 60 and 75 minutes. We're still in the game, and I think Alfredo will come on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I guess there's some permutations there. If we're winning, would you necessarily take him off? Maybe not. If we're losing the match and we need to add to the attacking prowess, then we'd probably put Alfredo on with him because you've got nothing to lose at that point. But it'd be very interesting if we are holding a lead or still drawing the match in the late stages. How would he change it? Because if we're holding them and we're holding them well, is he going to want to make a change? Because that's when you're worried. We've seen that with Gio in the past, and we've seen that with Steven Gerrard in the past, that they didn't always make changes when things were going quite well because they might not want to unbalance the team. And it'd be interesting to see how he does change it. If we're losing, then of course he'll make any changes he wants to try and just get fresh legs on. Be very, very interesting tonight, Ox. Hopefully we've got some creativity in there. I'm really excited to see Fashion having a go. He deserves this opportunity.
Here, mate. Here. I'm going to take my inspiration for Maccabi or Haifa, the team from Israel,
Maccabi
Haifa, who battered Juventus last night. So it can be done if you get the right attitude and people go out with the right. You go out with the right shape and you're switched on, and the results can happen. There's another thing I just want to mention quickly to you, Juicy. When Pep Guardiola mentioned that his players are tired last night, with the squad and riches he's got, it makes you question sometimes, eh?
Well, yeah, of course. They probably wouldn't have expected, and I'm sure same with a lot of punters as well, a 0-0 last night in Copenhagen. But things change in a match. You have a man sent off. It doesn't matter how good you are. It can affect the way you play. Things can change very quickly in a match, can't they? And at some point, a team that's on a winning run is going to come to an end. It doesn't matter who that team is. As it turns out for Man City last night, that's still a good result in the grand scheme of things because it qualified the Mox, But there'd have been a lot of punters, and their coupons last night would have been busted on the first night of the Champions League with that result. So things can happen. Juventus have not had the best of seasons so far domestically.
No.
So going into that match, Maccabi would have looked at that and thought, we're getting in amongst them. No, let's do it. And now we come to this. Liverpool not having the best of seasons, still a really good team, but they're coming to Ibrox where it's a great atmosphere, be very hostile for them. Why can't we get in amongst them? And I'm not just parking the fact that Liverpool aren't a really good team, but we're a good team as well, Rox, and we're more than capable of causing some damage, because that's what we've seen previously in Europe. This isn't just a made-up thing, is it?
Juicy, I expect the whole country to be right behind us. The whole country to be right behind us, because we're Scotland's only representatives who can progress in the Champions League, mate.
Well, absolutely, and wouldn't that be fantastic? I spoke to my dad this morning about it. I said, just imagine it, Dad. Imagine if we got 9 points from the last 3 games. And I know that still might not be enough to qualify, but it would certainly give us European football in the new year. And look, that could be a pipe dream, Oxford, but it's happened before. I can remember Newcastle many years ago when they were in the Champions League, losing their first 3 and winning their last 3. These things can happen. We've seen Rangers have 7 points after the first 3 games and then no points in the last 3. So you can see strange things, and it's going to be really difficult, because regardless of what happens tonight result-wise, going to Napoli in 2 weeks is going to be very, very difficult.
They look a top side. Yeah. Anyway, people join us all the time. I'll give you the team, Juicy, and just get your thoughts briefly. Obviously, Alan McGregor, James Tavernier, Connor Golson, Ben Davis, Borna Barisic, Ryan Jack, John Lundstrom, Scotty Arfield, Fashion Jr., Ryan Kent and Antonio Kolak, with on the bench John McLaughlin, Young Redvan, Stephen Davis, Matondo Sands, Morelos Wright, McCrory, King, Devine and Tillman. What was your thoughts, Juicy?
I think a few of the panellists were talking the other night, Ox, about possibly Sands starting in the midfield. I think there's more chance of that happening now that Ben Davis has, as it stands at the moment, secured that centre-back position on the left side. And I think we all want to see Sands get a chance in the midfield. Of course, he hasn't gone for him today, but if he comes on, it'd be great to see him, if he needs to replace Lundstrom or Jack, get a shot in the midfield and for future domestic matches as well, Ox. In terms of other options on the bench, I said earlier, Tillman could possibly come in for Arfield later in the match. Alfredo could come on for Cholok. Alfredo could come on for a midfielder if we're chasing the match. And then we finally get to see the 2 boys up front together. But hopefully we'll already be holding something that we won't necessarily need to make
Oh, it'll be interesting. Big game, Juicy.
Big
Big
get any match time. I think it
whets the appetite.
was difficult for him.
Yeah, it's whetting the appetite. This like last week, like the Napoli game in the first game, even away to Ajax, when we didn't play well, it still feels like a big contest. And it's great to be back. Yeah, we know we've not done.
I know it's been difficult for us. I know it.
Yeah, we've not done myself justice, mate. But hopefully we can start tonight. I mean, we lost 2-0 at Anfield. Teams will get beat with worse than that at Anfield in the past, and they will again in the future. But what frustrated us is we know we can play better. We know we can play better, mate. Yeah.
We know we've got that in our game, and we're more. It was just the way we set up Ox. We didn't give ourselves. I felt like we didn't give ourselves the opportunity to do well, and the 5 at the back was fine. When we conceded after 7 minutes, to me it became a little bit pointless continuing with that formation. If you're holding them, fair enough. But conceding that free kick, felt like we could have changed it then and just.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for 07.
Just felt we could have changed it then and gone for it. Holding 5 at the back as we did, we continue to not have a lot of the ball. We continue to not create anything, and you're just inviting that pressure. And I'm not saying we'd have won the match if we changed it to 4-3-3 in the 10th minute. But if you're already losing, I don't really see the point of continuing to play a defensive setup. Of course, there is the thought process that they could always nick one, but it's just a very difficult place to go. But we've seen other teams like Brighton recently go there and take it to them, as you said. Yeah. So I was a little bit disappointed we didn't do that, as I said on the night, but they've got another opportunity tonight, Ox, and let's just go for it. And in a couple of hours, we can sit here and go, whatever happened, at least they left it out there.
Yeah, that's all we ask. I mean, we could have had a goal last week and opened up and scored a goal and then get beat by more. But I think we were just frustrated because we never played well. Anyway, we'll be joined by Andy. Evening, Andrew.
Good. just rushed over from work there. I'm absolutely drunk at the moment, but I won't listen anymore. I've just told them to get out. I need to get settled down here. So I've listened on my mother phone there, right enough. How do you think they're playing that team, setup wise?
For me, it'll be the back 4, Jack Lundstrom in front of them, and then in front of them the 3, and then Cholak up front. So when we're out of possession, we'll try and make it a 5 and work hard. And when we go forward, Jack and Lundstrom will sit on the 4. The 4 players will have a licence, and maybe Jack and Lundstrom can get involved as the fullbacks go forward as well. So we'll always have cover, and we'll get more players forward.
Yeah,
it's a shape we played against Leipzig at home. It's a shape we played against Dortmund. It's no new, mate.
Yeah, I was just wondering, right enough. I wouldn't have differed too much for that, right enough. Well, all you're looking is that every man does his job tonight as best they can. Everybody has each other's back, and you never know, something might happen. We can get a draw that keeps it alive, doesn't it? That should take it down to the Ajax game, should it not?
Aye, it could possibly. I thought he was going to start the Nelson speech there, just say every man do his duty,
Oh, it was the beginning of a fine speech there, Anne. A draw would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd take the draw right enough. Right? I want to win right enough, but we can get a point. It gives you that, mere belief, in my opinion, that we could get a good performance in the draw. I hate saying draws right enough, but stop the rot, isn't it? Get off the mark, score a goal, and see if we can impose ourselves on them. If we can do that, football's a funny game, isn't it?
Attitude, mate. Attitude.
Yes. Well, I've always said that, right? Packed outside the ground there, just look at it now. But I think you.
Who's the big player for you tonight, Juicy? I'll come to you, Andy, with the same question.
Say that again, Ox.
Who's the big players for you tonight?
Well, the main man Cholak for starters, but obviously it's going to be about getting the ball to him because, to be fair, if you get the ball to him, he's pretty damn competent, as we've seen. I think in terms of a big game, it's for those who are going to be supplying him. So you're looking at Arfield, you're looking at Fashion and Kent. Fashion hasn't sort of played much for us this season at all, other than really at the weekend and last week. He's come on for very fleeting appearances, so it's massive for him. But you could see by his interview the other day that he's in a good frame of mind. I think anyone who's going to be supplying Cholak, because I'm not worried about Cholak. He's more than competent. If you give him that opportunity, we've got to get that ball to him. We've got to be creating those chances. So the emphasis is going to be on Fashion. And of course, Kent, who we know, unfortunately, has struggled this season. But what an opportunity to come good.
Yeah. AK's just texted me and said, Tommy McLean's a big player to Andy. I don't know what he's getting at there, Andy.
That guy never learns. He'll just get a awful tanning along the way tonight. But for me, it's Cholak. I think Kolak's the main man. As Jason's just said there, we definitely got to play to his strengths, gearing the chances. He looks like a real goal scorer, doesn't he? So, that'd be one. I think Jack and Lumsden's got to really stick it in the midfield. I think the big shagger will be vital at the back because, they will get chances then. So I hope he gives us a night, like he did last week, save-wise, obviously, not the result. But, look, it's got to be everyone, hasn't it? It has to be, because
everyone
we can't have 2 or 3 after the game.
Eh? Everyone do their duty, Andrew. Are you starting that speech again?
Oh, Jeremy, I think I'm going to start drinking again, man. You might make me nervous wreck when I come on here. I used to be quite confident.
You love it, really, don't you? You love it.
Oh, I can take it. You know what I mean? It's good to play dumb. That's all I'll say.
You're very good at it, mate. Okay.
I know I'm. Aye, but I've got to 61, so don't worry about it.
I thought I'd one wee blue man on, but we'll get 2 blue men on now. How we doing, Smurf?
Aye, no bad, mate. How's you?
Good, mate. Good. What do you think of the team, mate?
Well, whatever happens, as long as we get told right in about them, leave it out in the pitch, I'll back them all the way. Get behind the team and all that good stuff. I hope I'm wrong in what I'm saying, but I don't like the look of the midfield. I don't like the look of Jack, and I don't like Arfield in there. For me, I would have started more or less the same team, but I would have had Kamara, and I would have had the boys.
He's injured, mate. He's injured. Kamara's injured. Yeah.
Right, well, I've already go. I stand corrected. But I had the boy Sands in there as well. I think, I know we're going to go for it. That's the sort of the plan. But, we are up against top class. It doesn't get any better than that opposition. So I just think we're going to need legs, But I hope I'm wrong, and I'm. I'm up for it, and I'm confident. I think we can get something for the game tonight. I really do.
Here, Smith. Here. Andy, you come back with that, mate, and we'll go to Juicy.
Yeah, I never go in any game thinking we're going to get beat no matter who we play. So I'm still expecting something out of it. That's the way I was brought up.
You had a bet, mate? You had a bet?
Yeah, I got. You might have a laugh. I took him at 3-0 at 100-1.
Right.
So that's why I went big at the defence and the Shaggy to do his job tonight. And hopefully we cash in with a few goals.
Have you been following Southside's correct scores and first goal scorers this season?
No, he's worse than me. He's worse than me. I just laugh at you all.
He's at 4 up, mate.
I know. I've had 3 up. I've had 3 up this season. I'm just on the correct score right enough. So I'll stick with the way I'm going right enough. A lot of them boys are losing a lot of money and they're 6 though, aren't they? So I'll just keep going where I'm going.
I must be the only guy that cheers when one of his teams get beat because I think that quite funny, mate. Right, okay. Right, Juicy, I think the point they're making the same points as us. You leave everything out in the pitch. but you can give a performance, yeah, we'll get right behind them. We'll accept that, yeah.
Yeah, and with that will come a good level of entertainment as well, won't it, guys? Like we saw in the Europa games, like we saw even at home to PSV and at home to USG this season as well. We know that at Ibrox we're more than capable of turning it on and putting on an exciting show for the fans, because unfortunately the group stages haven't brought that level of excitement for us because it's been really, really hard. So hopefully tonight we can take it to them, and if we lose, fine, but just put in a good performance, because guys, these 6 matches are not going to define our season. You know, it's not going to define how we get on in the domestic competitions, etc. So whatever the scorelines have been, it's not going to reflect upon what we do domestically, really. As long as we can keep the players fit and healthy. We've got players still coming back, I know. You know, we've got more coming back after the World Cup. Hopefully Lawrence will be raring to go by then. It's a shame he got injured again. But it's great that we've got things still to look forward to there, Rox, you know. Hadji as well. And, you know, we're starting to get stronger. Davis is looking really, really good in only just a few appearances on that left side. And that's helped Goldston as well, as you guys have already said on the show this week. Goldston looks a little bit more secure because of that. And, you know, that just breeds the strength, doesn't it? And the fact that McGregor is playing like an absolute player of the year candidate in goal last week, I think we're all confident that he's starting between the sticks again.
I think, sorry, excuse me, myself, I think as well, I think that boy
must be some
good
goal
for a goal.
Aye, but that Alan McGregor must be some goal. I mean, you consider he's the number 2 Smurf, eh? John McLaughlin.
Aye. Well, I remember there's something in that. You sit there and you think, at the end of the season, you know, we've got to get a younger keeper and get him replaced and all the rest of it. And you think, well, what level of keeper? How much money do you go to spend to get a keeper at that level? I mean, it's an near impossible task. You look at budgets and, you know,
wages.
People want to play in certain leagues and wages, and, you know, we're lucky we've got a boy that came through the academy and he's got an affinity for the club, you know, a deep love for the club and its traditions and everything that stands for. You know, that's why he's there.
And your other point about Cholak?
My point about Cholak is that I think he's good for a goal at any level. I think that boy's clinical, and you know, that goal he scored with outside his boot the other day. I mean, you know, he's a finisher, and I much maybe you could say Alfie's game, all-round games maybe better suited for this match, but he's a better finisher than Alfie, and we've got to put them under pressure. We've got to create them problems at the back, and I think if he gets half a sniff, he gets a goal, it raises the crowd, it gets them all riled, it gets everybody going, breeds a bit of confidence. You never know what can happen, and you know, we're playing Liverpool, whatever. I think, you know, we need to remind ourselves who we are.
Yeah,
what we are.
Yeah, what we're
you know,
about.
We're Glasgow Rangers.
Yeah.
And I think we've just got to not throw complete caution to the wind, but we've got to stand with authority. We're Glasgow Rangers and we're playing at Ibrox, and it doesn't matter who we're playing. Get in about them, empty yourself, and the players must be of some kind of level, or they wouldn't be at the club. Might be lacking confidence, hampered with injuries, whatever. The night's about 90 minutes, and get out in there and empty yourself, and I think we can get something out of this game.
All right. Okay. All right. We are Glasgow Rangers. We shouldn't fear anybody at Ibrox. Yeah. But we're also realistic, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, you know, if something with your reading right enough, I mean, you know, they have the players right enough, but as I've always said, they're only skin, bone and blood. You know what I mean? So if we get stuck into them and ruffle them, the crowd gets, you know, kicks the roof off the stadium tonight, anything can happen. I think if we could get the first goal, that would really get us all at it, and you never know. Strange things happen. I never, like Smurfy said there, you never go into the game ever as a Rangers fan thinking we're going to get beat, don't it? Even if we're the last 10 minutes and we're 3-0 down, I still think we're going to get a draw. You know, that's how been brought up, and look, it's a big game for a minute. They want to really show themselves and grow up as real men and get stuck into them, get a result. But I feel like that should be for everybody in the club and the players on the park.
And obviously Scotland's last representatives in the Champions League, Andy.
Oh, well, I mean, I never thought it wouldn't be right enough there. Just we shouldn't laugh at them because we've got our night in front of them right enough. But it was quite an enjoyable night last night, to be honest with you. But I'm more interested in what we do tonight, and if we apply ourselves,
Well, we carried a bit.
I'll cut across. We've been joined by Billy. Evening, Billy.
Hi, evening to you all and all the panel.
What's been your mind, Billy?
Quite happy with the team selection tonight.
Is that the team you would have picked, mate?
Maybe aye, maybe no, as the old saying goes. But it's a big difference, but I like Arfield. I think by Scotty, I know his finishing hasn't been the best at times, but he's a good player for us, Another thing, hopefully, we get some rewards out of this game, and hopefully, the other thing is we maybe see Golak and Morelos up front.
I don't know if that'll happen tonight at the same time. Juicy, and you come, mate?
Well, yeah, I'm pleased you're happy with the team, Billy, because I just think it gives us an opportunity to put on the best show that we can, and give us a chance, because that's all you can ask for. Napoli are just about to beat Ajax 4-2, so anything we get from this match tonight, guys, if we can get a draw, or even just a draw, gives us a chance going into the last match.
Juicy, Fox was recording that, Juicy, to watch after the Rangers game, mate.
I was waiting until after the game.
Sorry. Do it every time.
I was actually waiting until after the Rangers game to see how the other scores went, because I was getting on.
We're not caring about you, Billy. We're not caring about you. You'll be going for a curry after the game.
They mentioned it during the match. You can't escape.
Smurf, what's the score going to be? Smurf, what's the score going to be?
I think we could get a 1 each for 2 weeks. 1 each, 2 weeks. I'm going for a 4 draw. 1 each, maybe 2 each.
Okay.
I think it's significant. Sorry, Anyway.
On you go, Smurf. Carry on. Finish, mate.
It's significant. Yeah, we were doing there. We never turned up last week, right? And Alan McGregor was inspired. We rode with luck a wee bit, but we never turned up last week, and they still never scored for open play.
Good shout.
I think we're good for a draw.
Andy, I'm going for a Rangers win.
Yeah, I'm going to let my heart rule my head in 2-1, the very last kick of the game for Rangers.
That's what I was going to
stands off. Keep them there, and then just hit them right with the last kick. Jeez, what an atmosphere that would be, wouldn't it? Oof, come on, let's have a bit of that, eh?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, 2-1. I was going to say for anybody. 2-1 to the Rangers.
2-1.
Yep, to Rangers.
Okay.
We've got a full Ibrox where I just hope that the players put it the way they have done in European games and whatnot. I know it's a hard team to beat. Liverpool, with injuries and whatnot, they're still multi-million-pound players, big-time players. But we can do it. We can do this.
I'm going for Big South Sides 2-0. Joe at the first goal, 325-1. There you go, Juicy boy.
I hope you win.
Fantastic, better. Get on it, guys. Get on it now.
Right, all the best, guys.
Cheers, Billy.
Right, thank you very much.
Cheers,
bye-bye.
Mate. Bye. Oh, I don't know who else dropped it there, but carry on. I think Andy may have dropped it.
Any kind of a win. 1-0. Bridgeman, that'd be fine. It would be sweaty, but I'd be fine with it. A 2-1 or a 3-1 would be phenomenal. What an achievement that would be. But remember, everyone we faced last season, and certainly everyone we faced this season, has bigger budgets than us. And I include PSV and USG in that as well, because the Dutch and Belgian TV deals are way more than the SPFLs. So all of the teams we've been facing this season in Europe and last season have more cash at their disposal in terms of bringing in assets, etc., developing players. So we're always up against it. And look how well we did last season against all of those teams that had far bigger budgets than us. Now, I know this is the biggest budget of all budgets in terms of Liverpool, but it doesn't mean that we're not capable of getting in amongst them.
Yeah. I read an article today where their support's been having a go at them for not spending enough money, mate.
Goodness me. I mean, they still spent a lot of money in the summer at Oxford. I haven't got the exact figure, but the beginning of the year they bought Diaz. He wasn't cheap.
They seem to bring in a few quid. That's what they mean. Their net spend, yeah.
Well, they sold Sadio Mane, and I think they made a little profit on him from what they signed him for, which was great when you consider he was older. So yeah, they've run pretty well. You don't hear the fans moaning about their American owners the way some other Premiership fans do about their club's owners. So
they might have to stay in that position in the league, but mate, that's when things change. Isn't it?
Maybe, but you've got to appreciate how well they've done over the last few years under Klopp. Okay, they lose a few games; it's difficult. You have to appreciate that teams like Arsenal are, under the tutelage of former Rangers player Mr. Arteta, are doing well. So you can't always sustain it forever, but that doesn't mean that they're still not a good team. But it would still be a wonderful scalp for us if we can take this tonight. And would you, if you gave me the draw, would I take it now? Probably, but that's only because it would keep things alive for us. Maybe not from the Champions League point of view, but at least Europe. But if we could win it, how is that going to make the players feel going into the next few matches before the World Cup? What a way to bolster everyone's thoughts and really keep things flowing, because it's not just about this one game. It's about building momentum for the coming matches and keeping things going, because we have a tough domestic match at the weekend. We want to be ready for that as well. But as far as tonight goes, we can empty that tank, as Billy was saying. Empty the tank, because we don't play till Sunday. We can go all out. Yeah.
Smurf, what are you looking for tonight? What are you looking for after the fans, the team, the Rangers family?
Well, I'm looking for 100% effort for everybody, particularly the fans. Lift the players, because if they settle, they get the ball, they get into a rhythm, they start passing it about, spook the players a wee bit. We've still got to get behind them, and the players have got to be brave. They've got to, the jersey's got to, it can't be too big for them. It's got to fit them, and they've got to wear it and represent it accurately and effectively, and go and play into the Rangers way and the Rangers tradition and go for it. And I think, crucially, Gio's got to play his part as well, in the sense that I think his choice of substitution, the timing of his substitution, and the performance of his substitutes will also have a huge bearing on this game.
I think you've got to use it. It's again for the 14 men, maybe even 15 men. Just Smurf.
I think he's. If these guys are truly emptying themselves, he's going to need to rotate his team. He's going to need to make substitutions, and I think that'll be a barometer of the effort that they've put in. Particularly in key positions. But no, I think we just got to be positive, really, really, really brave, and they're carrying the hopes of the fans, and the fans have got to support them in that, and they'll get on their back. There's nothing worse than things go quiet, particularly if you lose a goal or that. There's still time to play. We've really just got to get behind them, raise the roof, as we always do anyway. Ibrox in Europe, it's a special place, and things can happen. I'm full of confidence, but I expect even if we get beat, and I don't think we will, I'm expecting the players to absolutely rinse themselves in it.
Here's another man expecting everybody to do their duty, Juicy.
Absolutely, Oxter. And that's all we want to see is just put in a performance. We get what we get, but just put in that performance.
Right, thank you, lads. Thank you to Andy. Thanks to Billy. Thanks to your good self, Smurf. Always a pleasure to hear from you, Mucker.
Cheers, mate.
And Juicy, we'll be back. And Juicy will be back approximately 15 minutes after the final whistle. Juicy, celebrating a Rangers victory.
Absolutely. Come on.
Come on, the Rangers. Take it away, Foxy boy.
Who's that team they call it?